Hello, it's Linda Hayes again, coming to you from Belize and Canada. One of the purposes of this video is to show what dual SIM phones can do if you're not aware of it, and also demonstrate on my new phone that I got, which is the Samsung Galaxy S21. So why would you want a dual SIM phone? Well, one option is if you have both a work and a personal cell phone number, you can keep both of them in one phone rather than carrying two. Same thing goes when you're traveling. You can have both your domestic number and your foreign number. So many people do have a cheaper phone they keep with them when they travel to insert a foreign SIM card in, but this option is a little better because you just have your one phone that you can put it into. Now, the challenge is that even though these phones exist, Canada and the US don't often offer them, and other countries do. Now, when I've read online, the reason for that is a lot of the carriers don't want to do this because they don't want you to use other companies that may be cheaper when you're away. They'd rather you use all their roaming services. So that's what some people say, although that I have some other reasons that I found that I'll share a little later. Now, what some companies do is offer what's called an eSIM option. So I put a little excerpt in here from TELUS, which is my local cell phone company. So their eSIM cards basically allow you to have a voucher which gives you the two phone numbers on certain phones. You can buy those. They're fairly cheap. They're $10 with TELUS, but there are some limitations to these that I'm going to talk about, and that's why you may want to consider getting a physical SIM phone instead. So I have both a Belize phone number and a Canadian phone number. And how it works when I'm in Belize is that my TELUS plan is $12 a day when I'm in Belize, and luckily it maxes out at $180 a month. So it's basically for half the month that it'll charge me, and it gives me the use of all my regular plan options, all my data, and I'm able to call for free within Canada and in Belize. But I did want a Belize number as well. First of all, maybe I could avoid that $12. Some people can do that. But also many government departments and shippers want a local number. And if I'm not connecting to data in a location, a lot of times I used to use my Belize phone to hotspot because neither of my plans have unlimited data. So my Belize plan is through a company called Digicel, and it's actually really affordable. It's only 55 Belize, so $27.50 US per month. And what I did is I bought a cheap phone with them to start with, where I put the Belize SIM card in it. Now, I could have also got an unlimited data plan with Smart, which is another cell phone company in Belize, but it was quite expensive. It was 135 Belize a month. And I still needed my Canadian number because of my Airbnb properties. And my issue with having the two phones is that I would often forget to charge my Belize one. So that's why I started to look into dual SIM phones instead. So here is some details on what the TELUS eSIM offers. So it shows both for iPhones as well as for Android. So it talks about the specific phones that you can use it on, and it's not all the all phone options. So when I was first going into this, the phone I had didn't even allow you to use an eSIM. But the other issue is that a lot of countries eSIMs don't work, so it isn't necessarily possible. But I put this in just so you could see that if you did have an iPhone or an Android, which types of operating systems you need, and some of the rules for iPhone specifically, because they talk about the fact on an iPhone you have to activate your physical SIM first in order to ensure correct provisioning on the warranty, and then how the eSIM works. So basically it is quite complex, and you've got to make sure you have the right phone if you're going with this option. So when I was looking for physical SIM cards, I realized that I couldn't get those through TELUS in Canada. And because I was in Belize at the time, I decided to look into that as well. And I found this article about Samsung's dual SIMs, because there is a new article about how Samsung has dual SIMs in the US starting January 2022, but many people were talking about that it doesn't actually work yet. So first of all, the first paragraph I put in here talks about the fact that carriers prefer eSIMs to dual SIMs because of a quirk in mobile tech standards. So if a phone has dual physical SIMs, all carriers that use SIM cards and have that basically have to have every model work with it. On the other hand, you can opt out of eSIM as a carrier. So it makes dual SIMs much more powerful than eSIMs because you have more carrier options. So this is really the reason that I wanted to have a phone that had 2 physical SIMs, because depending where you're traveling and what you want to do, which carrier you want to use, obviously this is the more flexible thing. Now, in this article, there was an update where Samsung clarified that it can't provide a specific timeline for launching dual SIM functionality, even on the phones with dual SIM cards. So that is the issue in the US currently, and hopefully this will change at some point, but in Canada it's kind of the same challenge. Just because Samsung makes phones with dual physical SIMs, it doesn't mean it's going to work with your provider or in your country. So my new phone is a Samsung Galaxy S21. It does have dual physical SIMs, and I bought it in Belize on the island of Ambergris Caye where I live. And there at a company called Cellular World, which they have a really big presence in Belize. They have another store in Belize City that's even larger, I believe. And all of their Samsungs had dual SIMs, and so did many other brands. And it's because their phones are manufactured outside of North America, where it's more common to have physical SIM cards. So both my TELUS and my Belize SIM cards work seamlessly on the new phone, and I'm going to do a demo to show some of the things that you want to look for if you get a phone like this. Now, the phone wasn't cheap. It was $22.50 Belize, which is $1,025 US. Now, if I bought it in Canada at TELUS, it would have been $1,340 Canadian, so not much different. And obviously, I wanted the 2 physical SIMs rather than the eSIM that I would have got in Canada. So that also, it was good because I bought the phone in Belize, tested it out there. Now I'm back in Canada, so I've been able to use it in both locations to see how it works. So I just wanted to show what my settings look like on my new phone here. So basically, my SIM number 1 that they put in is my Digicel one, and for some reason it doesn't recognize the number. But anyway, what I did is I set up a little icon for it. It allowed me to pick one in the phone, so I put that one as a palm tree, and then for my TELUS one, I put that as a maple leaf so that I could clearly see which one was which. And then when I was in Belize, my preferred SIM card was the palm tree, but now that I'm back in Canada, of course, my preferred SIM card is the Canada one, so you can see for calls, messages, and mobile data, that is what I'm using.
Hello, I'm going to record what I'm going to do on my phone to change the SIM card IDs. So when I go into my contacts on my Android, I can click the 3 buttons right beside the magnifying glass. And in there, you'll see Select SIM for Calls. So when I click on that, I can choose all my contacts and then just say Select SIM for Calls. And then I can pick my Canadian SIM and it'll change all of them. And when I go back to Belize, I could do the same thing, for example, and just do this and say all, and then select it again and pick Belize if I wanted to do that. Now, generally speaking, I wouldn't want to do that because most of my contacts are in Canada, so it just depends where all your contacts are. Now, in my case, what I would do is put them all to Canada and then go in manually afterwards to just change a few that are in Belize to the Belize numbers that I need. So for example, if I search Belize, because a lot of the people I actually put in contacts that way. So here's a Belize phone number. It has the country code 501 for that contact. And in there, on that contact, it says SIM card 2. And I can just go in and change that one to say I want to do hers to 1. So that will fix just the contacts in Belize, which for me are a lot less. So that makes it possible for me to do everything using the phone correctly.
So I hope that video gave you some useful information about dual SIMs. And I did put a couple of the QR codes in here for some of my YouTube playlists in case you haven't seen my other videos. And if you do have specific questions, you can buy me a coffee and set up a call. And I hope to see you soon in Belize.